looking at this property, it gets me excited to know that you can still find these types of assets in Knoxville for $350,000, and I would encourage you today to start investing yourself. All right, welcome back to another episode. We're going to check out a really unique property. I think that a lot of landlords need to start thinking of themselves as business owners. The quicker you think about your product, and your product is your number one important variable to getting well-qualified tenants that pay maximum rent to make you cash flow. So that right there is in essence why we're looking at this property today. These are the type of assets that I want in my portfolio as somebody that already manages over 250 units in Knoxville, who should, be on your radar for getting advice from if you want to become a landlord yourself, or if you already are and you want to pivot into different asset classes. Single family A-class is not where you're going to get rich on cash flow, but it is where you're going to create a lot of appreciation. And let me just say this. The most amount of money you should spend on a single family, hot take here, $375,000. Anything over that, you should be looking into multifamily, because the total purchase price is actually getting into the realm of owning a duplex, a quadplex, and something larger. Once you're at $500,000, it doesn't make any sense at that point to put that significant of a down payment, because your rent roll will not actually bring impact to cover the loan. So all fancy words for saying if you're spending over $400,000, you better be getting multifamily, minimum a duplex. But with single family, your maximum purchase price is $375,000, and I have a deal right here in front of me on market, beautiful photos, for $350,000. And some of you won't consider that a deal, and I still say it is. If you go to Nashville and you go look at what a single family house costs near downtown at this quality of a new build, you will be spending minimum $500,000. So $350,000, just like I promised you. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, which honestly, even if it was a 2-bath, it would still be a deal. But you get a 3rd bath, 1,710 square feet. We're going to go over what this can rent for in the future of this video, but what I want to isolate and talk on is quality. This is a new build with very, very unique features and fixtures. So just look at that kitchen. You're getting something that no one else can find around town very easily. Think of a DR Horton, Smith Build, all these nationwide builders that are putting in standardized cabinets with no luxury to them. If you buy one of those houses, you're going to be paying in the same price range. And if you're buying it as a rental, you might want to look at this asset over a DR Horton, because guess what happens in a DR Horton neighborhood? The tenant that you find moves in. So on this asset, some of the things I don't like about it, just so I don't glaze over how positive this thing is: limited yard, no fence, no privacy. You start competing with apartment complexes when you don't have outside space, because that means neither one of these assets have private outside space. Apartment complexes oftentimes have community spaces like dog parks, maybe even like a playground or a park nearby. Same situation for this house. You might have a park nearby or a coffee shop to walk to, but in all reality, most of the value is inside the box, not outside. So that is a key variable we need to talk on before we just go into the rest of the positives. But it doesn't take away from me being interested in saying, yes, if I had the funds to make this deal work, would I buy it? I would officially say, yes, this is a deal. It's very passive. It's not something you're going to get free real estate out of, which is a slang term for me saying you're not going to cash out refi after buying it and get all your money out and still cash flow. You are signing up for $350,000 of value, only putting, let's say, $50,000 to $75,000 down. And then I promise you, on average, you would end up not having to come out of pocket ever again with your vacancies and your limited maintenance. All of those things would be covered because you are in luxury asset management. You have a business model where you might outsource and contract me to handle it, but if you're managing it yourself, you are managing a luxury home that will come with great, well-qualified tenants at prices that hopefully can honestly make you a little cash flow monthly to make sure the investment is safe. But overall, you are buying this product so that way you can build appreciation. We know that the average home across America is probably around this price. And are you buying an average home? Or are you buying a pretty customized kitchen and floor plan and something you can't find around town? So those are really my main reasons why I looked at this deal on Zillow today. It's not really being sold to the capacity that, you know, or it's not getting pushed to landlords as a rental, because obviously I think someone moving in and living in it is going to find the most amount of value here. But for those people just wondering, you know, is this a deal, or like, should I look into something similar? Yes, 100%. This is a home that has the square footage, it has the beds and baths, it's new, it's going to have very few issues. The key variable is, can you find somebody to pay the rent rate? And that comes into the next and final phase of this video. What will this house rent for? And what this house will rent for, in my opinion, on the absolute low end, is $2,500 a month. The absolute maximum would be about $2,850. Honestly, $1.66 a square foot is very practical. It's just the fact that it's a 1,710 square foot home that makes it a little complicated. On our smaller units, we can get up to $2 a square foot. On our larger units, you're batting closer to $1.35, maybe $1.40. But because of the quality of this home, you can ask that premium between that $1.44, $1.65 price point. And I would recommend, and I'm saying this as a property manager that manages over 250 assets across East Tennessee, you should look into a realtor helping you list this for rent. They will have access to the MLS just like a property manager, but they manage their MLS, I would say, better than a property manager. Yes, it will go on Zillow Rent, it'll go rent.com, apartments.com, you'll have a sign in the front yard, but you probably need to partner with a realtor and property manager to get this deal renting for the highest rate and as soon as possible with the most well-qualified tenant. And I've done this in the past and seen great success with that. You have a realtor, they know niche, amount of people, they have a niche community or a lead list of people moving to the area needing to rent something for 6 to 12 months while they're building or shopping for their next home. This is the asset that those people want to live in. That's your target audience. That's who's going to be paying premium rent rate. I actually could see this house, because you have the amount of bedrooms and baths being equal, 3 beds, 3 baths. It could actually be a college rental as well. So that would be where you could get up to $3,000 for total rent on this property and elevate your cash flow even more. Now that's a riskier play to bank on that. Probably high earners moving to the area looking to build or buy their permanent home, and or college students that are paying premiums on campus and would rather live in something like this. Now there's risk with anyone that you rent to when it comes to damage and how they treat the property. Overall, be sure to have co-signers, make sure your credit score and income is high, and you'll be all right over the average of the next 10 years. Looking at this property, it gets me excited to know that you can still find these types of assets in Knoxville for $350,000, and I would encourage you today to start investing yourself. Remember, rents due.